My name is Cora, and the bus making that god-awful sound is the home I share with my partner, Jose. Now we're in a tight spot because we're traveling the Pan American Highway from Alaska to Argentina. You currently find us here, already a month behind schedule to get south before winter. And now, we've got a serious problem.
Oh man, I think there's actually a chunk missing out of it. I like to call Watson Lake the black hole breaking down. Getting parts here seems to be almost impossible.
There's an old saying that some stories don't choose us gently. By the end, this one almost has us believing in fate. And so let us take you back to the very beginning, to the morning after it happened, here at mile 615 of the Alaska Highway. So, yesterday we're finally so excited, leaving on our way to Watson Lake, which is going to be stop number 1 on episode 10. And as we're climbing hills, all of a sudden, a new sound starts. And it gets worse and worse. And so we didn't get very far on this 1,000-mile push of ours. So here's where we tell you what was the plan. We were on our way to the start of the Stewart-Cassiar Highway, a beautiful route through remote British Columbia. We planned to make a blazingly quick stop in Watson Lake for a very special reason, but fate, it appears, has different plans. Okay.
Back of the flex plate right there. That screwdriver. Yeah, I think your flex plate is broke. I can see some shiny bits where I don't think there should be some shiny bits.
Okay.
Yeah, you could feel it too. Yep, in between one of the holes to the center, it's split.
So to fix that, you have to bring down the transmission, right?
Yeah, you have to remove the transmission and then the little tiny thin flex plate at the back. That's.
Is the car gonna be a long time to?
Oh, crap, man. You know what? It is, I like to call Watson Lake the black hole breaking down. Because getting parts here seems to be almost impossible.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can come in a couple days. I had a guy last winter. I told him to make it to Whitehorse. He ignored my advice, stayed, and he was waiting for a heater core for his Volvo Semi. And he was here for 12 days.
Jeez.
Waiting for it to get here. And I was like, I told you, man, you should have, when it was nice and warm, you should have made a book for it. But he decided not to, so.
Do you think we can make it back to Whitehorse?
Ooh, there is. Oh, man, I think there's actually a chunk missing out of it. That's probably what the big noise is. Yeah. There's a big gap. Yeah, totally. I'm looking right at it, the fracture. Yeah, it's the flex plate. 100%.
Okay.
100%. The best advice to avoid damage, because it flailing around like that could damage your rear main seal of your engine, which is probably what this engine oil is from. For as close as Watson Lake is, I would suggest at least getting to Watson, because you have cell service, you're close to some amenities, right?
Yeah, right.
But that's up to you guys.
Yeah.
That's totally up to you.
And so it seems we have a culprit, and it's no leaky hose or busted bearing. This is actually pretty big. The flex plate is part of the system that transfers power from the engine to the transmission, and unfortunately, the nearest one is in Edmonton, Alberta, which means we've got some waiting to do. We won't move the bus to the shop until parts are in hand, and so for the next 10 days, home is a pull-off 15 miles west of Watson Lake, Yukon. At least we have plenty of work to do while we're stuck in place. Anyone who has edited video knows what we're talking about. Filming is just the first step. Then comes the long, albeit satisfying slog of crafting all that footage into a story. Finally, the parts are here, and now all we've got to do is get our old girl to the shop. Now, there's a chance we could limp Bobby to the shop without causing further damage. And if we weren't in the north, where summer lasts a grand total of 5 minutes, we would probably give it a shot. But with 10 days already gone, we really can't afford any more lost time. If we cause more problems by driving the bus, we could easily cost ourselves the rest of the summer. And there are some incredible places between here and the US that we really, really want to take you to, so it's just not worth it. And so, we tow. We try to be glass half full, see the silver lining kind of folks, but we can't deny that this is quite a kick below the belt. We just did a ton of expensive preventative work on the bus in preparation for this very trip south. But this issue came completely out of left field, and no one could have predicted it. We wish we could say this is Bobby's first time getting loaded onto a flatbed, but if you've been with us through all of season 2, you know that this is actually flatbed tow number 2. This was when we almost made it back from the Arctic Ocean in one piece. So close. Just like then, Bobby seemed to hold on just long enough to get us reasonably close to help before fully calling it quits. So this was not in the plans, but it comes with the terrain, so can't really complain too hard. To be honest, the most unfortunate part about this is the timing. We just really can't afford to be held up in one place for so long right now. But it is what it is. Hopefully the next step goes as fast as it can go, and then we're back on the road. We're hoping the shop will be home for just a few days. Little do we know, fate is gearing up to turn the screw once more. The shop is a couple miles outside of town, and here's an important thing to bring up. Watson Lake is a small town in rural Yukon. Why is it so well equipped with qualified mechanics then? Because it sits along the Alaska Highway. Every year, this popular highway shuttles thousands and thousands of travelers between Dawson Creek, British Columbia, and Delta Junction, Alaska. Watson Lake is also a short 13 miles from the start of the Stewart-Cassiar Highway, perhaps lesser used, but still a popular route. That's a lot of traveling vehicles and a lot of breakdowns. So for many folks, the mechanics in Watson Lake are their saving grace. That certainly is our case. Dillon and Caleb run Farrow equipment. They are about to save our butts and show us just how big of a pickle we're in right now.
I got the cap. Some of the needles fell over, but I didn't lose any on the floor. It's not very nice now, is it? Holy moly. Come forward backward angle. Perfect. This up a little bit. Let's see if I can't bust this free. Oh man. That's what I like to see. Yeah.
It's sitting. No, it's got to go your way more.
My way more?
Just there.
Now, it's a really big deal to drop the transmission, which is what they're doing. We've never had to do this before, and it kind of calls to mind the last time we got to see deep inside Bobby's insides. Rewind to 2021, and we are in Baja, Mexico, waiting out the pandemic. And it comes to our attention that it might be in our best interest to do an engine rebuild. We decide to do it there in Mexico because we're trying really hard to avoid major issues in the USA and Canada. Ha, I know, right? Well, seeing into the heart of Bobby's engine was pretty cool. Now we get to catch a glimpse into part of the transmission system and what went wrong.
Okay, come up a little bit now if you can.
Do I need to come down? Is it too high? Is it snagging on that?
Yeah, you can come down now a little bit. Just a little. Okay. Oh, come back. Oh, yeah. Okay.
We're losing all the tranny fluid out of it?
There you go. Yeah, come back. The torque was just falling. It's draining the torque at the moment.
It was a little unintentional. Oops.
If you can grab me that drain at the front, and I can tip it down, let it finish draining.
Okay, here, hold on. There we go. Oh yeah, I was completely shattered. That flex plate?
Yeah.
Completely shattered. Some of the studs look like they took just a little bit of rubbing. But we're hoping that they will be okay. Let's pick this up and put it somewhere a little softer. All right.
That dude, it literally did.
I know, it literally like wedged itself. That's what I mean. Like this thing was shattered.
And there it is. Our flex plate, not cracked, not warped, but completely broken in two. The guys tell us that the only reason the bus could drive at all was because a drive component had lodged itself in and fused to the plate. Otherwise, the bus would have acted like it was in neutral. They said they've never seen anything like it.
This is the drive component that's sandwiching it between the engine and the torque converter.
Wow.
This did get a little bit of damage. I'm hoping that's not going to be too much of an issue. And this is what it's supposed to look like.
brand new. Big difference.
Yeah. Just a little bit.
So everything on this side of the connection didn't get stressed or
Damaged? Well,
Oh,
there were,
damaged.
from those nuts, that's where they were rubbing, and that's where you heard the noise, was just in this little bottom section of the bell housing here. You see that silver streak?
uh-huh.
So that's where they were rubbing, but that bell housing is super thick material, so that is of no consequence.
Perfect.
There's a little bit of wear from the seal lip, but I'll clean that up really good. There's a little scuzzy layer on there I'll clean off. Put your new seal housing on, put your new seal in, and then we can put the flex plate back on, and then throw your torque converter back in the mouth of the transmission, and then mount it back up.
That you said I'm repeating my head. China cabinet busted again. Ends it won't meet when the raisins are in. Picking up teeth off the pavement. Broken like bread, shirts that don't fit. Growing mold in the basement.
As the new flex plate goes in, we're all in high spirits, because after a few other minor things to attend to, we should be back on the road tomorrow. Ah, fate and her nasty little tricks. Right now, we're living in blissful ignorance, so we leave the guys to it and head out to see new things and maybe even relive a bit of the past.
In a canyon left undone. Another tape, another rerun. If this is all you know.
Don't splash me!
This is all you know.
Don't! Mean boy!
This is all you know.
As we enjoy the crisp waters of Lucky Lake, it's hard not to notice the colors already starting to change. It's incredible how quickly summer arrives, comes, and goes up here. We're starting to feel the pressure, and we'll have to move quickly south once we're mobile again. Back in town, we treat ourselves to a little blast from the past. You might not know that Jose and I met in China. We lived in Guangzhou, also known as Canton. Many of the Chinese immigrants who traveled the world bringing their culinary traditions with them were Cantonese. So what most of the world knows as Chinese food comes from Cantonese cooking, and it's actually morphed into something very different from the real thing. Ironically, the one cuisine we could not find anywhere in Guangzhou was this, our westernized version of Chinese food. And that's a wrap on day 11. Tomorrow we tend to a couple other bus fixes and then hit the road. Or so we think. So this spring, the bus had a lot of work done in Whitehorse. But the mechanics there dropped the ball on a few minor things, and in an effort to hit the road quickly, we let it slide. But as long as we were ordering parts from Edmonton, we got the parts to fix those issues as well. We really do try to be as preventative as possible. The first is something that's been bothering us for a while now, and we're fairly certain that this pulley is the culprit. An incessant squeak has been coming from this belt, something we really started to notice after our breakdown coming down from the Arctic last summer. After removing the pulley, we see that it's warped and chewed up on one edge, and we have a pretty good idea what might have caused that.
Look at this. We got a bearing or something broke right there.
Every mechanic has told us that this isn't a breakdown waiting to happen, just an annoyance. But we don't like living with that squeak, and here's to hoping that this new pulley fixes the sound. We've also had a minor but persistent power steering leak. Dillon believes it's just a faulty seal, so here's to hoping that replacing the seal does the trick. And Dillon noticed that our left steer tire is starting to wear unevenly, so we're replacing the drag link to halt that process and keep Bobby's current set of shoes in good condition. And then comes the moment that, unfortunately, we didn't film in the stress of the moment. But we'll tell you what happened. We cranked on the engine to test a few things and found that this, the seal to the back of the engine, had failed. And to fix it, we'll need to reorder the seal from Edmonton. Now, this is the moment to go back to something we told you at the very beginning of this episode. Even though our mission is the Stewart-Cassiar Highway, we've always planned to dash over to Watson Lake for a day. The reason why requires just a little jaunt into the past. Rewind to 2022, and we are driving up the Alaska Highway on our way to the last frontier. Watson Lake is a must-stop along this route, as it is home to one of the most delightful collaborations put on by humankind. It's so big!
This is amazing. Look at all these signs.
I love human beings. They make stuff like this. Well, this is just the coolest thing. I cannot wait for us to come back here next spring, or actually next summer, maybe even next early fall, and put our own signs here. We'll do an Art Be There Yet sign, and then we will each make a sign pointing with the number of miles towards our respective hometowns. It'll be really fun.
We do not have a sign yet, but in the meanwhile, we're gonna leave a little sticker until we get our actual signs on the way down from Alaska. There we go, we left the mark.
We'll be back.
For more.
So confidently, we talked about the future as if we had the slightest clue what would actually happen. We thought we'd be back within the year. Instead, we return 3 years later with a lifetime of adventure and growth behind us. It seems the Signpost forest has grown quite a bit itself. It was started in 1942 by a homesick U.S. soldier helping build the Alaska Highway. Over the years, it has grown and grown and grown, with signs added by travelers from across the globe. It is now home to an estimated 120,000 signs and counting. Our plan was always to come back here for a day and finally install our sign and leave our permanent mark in the Signpost forest. But the universe, it seems, had other plans. For the next 6 days, home will be the shop as we wait for the new engine seal. Our quick one-day visit to Watson Lake is quickly turning into weeks carved out of our fleeting northern summer. And so, we have a choice. Stew in frustration, or find the beauty in a place that before we gave just a passing glance. There's one place we can't believe we passed up in 2022. Watson Lake has a year-round population of about 1,100 people. How many towns of that size do you know of that has a dome theater? The Northern Lights Center educates travelers on both the science and lore of the aurora borealis. It currently shares space with the Watson Lake Visitor Center, making it kind of a one-stop shop for all things inspiration and information. The Northern Lights Center puts on its show every hour on the hour, so while we wait, we reminisce a bit. It's fun to reflect on where you've been, where you are now, and how every traveler's experience is unique. The original sign from 1942 is here, and as you can see, the signpost forest is going strong, growing year by year as travelers leave their mark. Finally, it's time for the show. For copyright reasons, we can't film the show itself, but we can give you a little taste, because one of us spent many hours last winter capturing the aurora for episode 8. Imagine taking in this show without freezing your poor fingers and toes, which is just what the Northern Lights Center offers. And we learn about some of the folklore tied to the aurora, which is fascinating. And we didn't realize we'd also be treated to a second show, this one about black holes. A little ironic, given what Dillon told us the day after we broke down. But all irony aside, the show provides a good dose of perspective. Our little problem right now really is just that. We try to keep that in mind as every day the sun sets earlier and earlier, and late at night the temperatures dip lower and lower. Most days we keep our nose to the grind, trying to use this opportunity to reduce our backlog, which has long been a struggle for us. We're usually so backlogged that there's a big time lag between filming an episode and releasing it. It's nice to be so close to zero backlog. Unfortunately, that probably won't last very long. Because every day we see more and more autumn colors creeping in. We are running out of time. To get south before the snow flies, we're going to have to just drive and film and drive and film with very little time for post-production, which means our backlog is probably going to swell once more. Getting out of the bus and exploring helps take the edge off these stressful thoughts. Wye Lake is another spot we cannot believe we missed in 2022. So it's really no fun to be playing the waiting game again.
Yep, that really sucks. But at least we have a running car that we can drive to beautiful places like this. It's really nice to get out of the shop, just to get some fresh air, and actually to get to see a little bit more of Watson Lake. It's actually a beautiful place. I can't believe most people just drive through, but now that we're forced to be here, it's actually nice to come and see these nice places.
We know we're biased, but the Yukon really is a magnificent part of the world. Here in this region, the Liard River winds its way into the horizon, and the Alaska Highway cuts a clean ribbon across the land. it's hard not to feel a bit despondent as every day hundreds of travelers zoom by, graced with an unbelievable stretch of beautiful weather, and we are stuck, unable to move. Finally, the day comes and we get the call. The seal is in, it's time to install it, and then hope for the best. If it fails again, we could be in for another long wait. Do you see any oil dripping from the rear main seal behind that nice new spinning flex plate? Neither do we, neither do Dillon and Caleb, which means it appears our Bobby girl is back in business. The sense of relief in this shop is palpable. Spirits are high as the guys put the tranny back up. Here's to hoping it's many, many more years before we see that transmission come down again. Now, as Dillon and Caleb are getting our old girl back in shape, conversation turns to the original reason we came back to Watson Lake at all. And the guys come up with the best idea. An idea that almost makes all of this drama and all of this lost time seem like the grand plan of that mischievous lady, Fate.
Time to get the show back on the road!
And so, on the day we roll out, there are a few predictable stops before we hit the highway. And there's one stop that we didn't plan to make, but the idea and the opportunity is just too good to pass up. We drive old Bobby Bus into town and fuel up. After weeks stuck in place, our diesel heater used up quite a bit of fuel, keeping us warm on those chilly autumn evenings. Then we stop at the guy's shop in town to do one last final check over and also to borrow some tools. So around this time last year, we left Alaska completely dead set on driving down the Stewart-Cassiar Highway and making it south for winter. And you know what happened. Winter caught us off guard and we ended up spending an unexpected winter in the Yukon. But not before we printed our sign for the Signpost forest. Now, a year later than planned, we're ready to install it with just about the best frame it could ever fit into.
All right, so we got our sign ready for the Signpost forest. Looks pretty cool.
Yeah, right there.
We're here
Damn straight.
for a while.
Longer than expected.
Yeah. And now, we've just got to go install it. Some full circle moments are entirely predictable. Some depend on pure random chance. When we came here 3 years ago, we had no idea how the North would capture our hearts and change our lives. The Signpost Forest felt like a place that marked our entry to the north, to our great Alaskan adventure. Now it feels like the closing of that chapter, and so isn't it fitting that we leave more of ourselves here than we ever planned? 3 years later, we are finally back to leave our permanent mark in the Signpost Forest. Now we just gotta find a place to put it. It's gonna be tough to find a spot. It's crazy how like every little inch is used up. It's gonna be hard. Oh, I think this might work for us. This might be our spot.
All right, let's get this thing installed. And we also have 2 more signs to put up, which are pointing out towards each of our hometowns. So my town is El Sauce in Nicaragua, and Cora grew up in the Driftless region of Wisconsin. So we have one pointing in that direction as well. And I think this worked really great because we can put one on each side of the main sign, and we'll leave our mark over here. Okay. All right, that's solid. That's not going anywhere. That looks pretty awesome. There you go. Beautiful. Okay. There you go. Ta-da!
And so, if you ever have a chance to pass through Watson Lake, make sure you don't only visit the Signpost Forest. Make sure you take a dip at Lucky Lake. Take in the show at the Northern Lights Center. And stroll around Y Lake at sunset. Hopefully you don't have vehicle troubles, but if you do, give Dillon and Caleb a call. They're solid, honest, and will get you on the road again. And then, yes, explore the Signpost Forest and think about the thousands and thousands of journeys that crossed paths here, each one unique, each one a story of its own. And if you explore long enough, keep an eye out for an old broken flex plate, the mark of just one of those journeys, one that now mobile has some incredible places to take you next time.
If this is all you know, this is all you know. Could you believe better? This is all you know. Scratching my back,